Okay. John and I met on Match.com, and I actually saw his profile on there, Big Red Nerd. And I had sent him a message, and he did not reply.
There was one day that I came across Kristin, and I thought, wow, yeah, she's pretty cute. So I dug a little deeper and looked at her profile. She seemed very interesting, so I was like, all right, I want to meet this person. So I paid the subscription, sent her an email. I don't know how long I waited. I don't think it was too long. Didn't get a response. So I was like, all right, I paid the money. I'm going to send another email.
So I didn't respond, but I mainly didn't respond because I hadn't seen that email, because I hadn't been online, because I had met someone, and then he sent another email, and so I actually opened that email and was like, oh, that was the guy that I had messaged, and he didn't respond to me.
We went to Kitty's. I thought it went good. She talked a lot. I thought for myself, I talked a lot. I thought we had an engaging conversation. After we finished eating, have a couple beers, I took her back to her place and asked her to see if she was interested about seeing each other again.
And we had good conversation on the first date and drank a couple beers and called it a night. He was a little bit quiet, so I didn't really pick up a vibe that he was interested in me, which was fine. I still had a good time with him. And at the end of the night when he dropped me off, he kind of awkwardly asked me if I was interested in hanging out again, which I wasn't expecting from him. And a part of me was kind of like, yeah, I think I could hang out with him again. I mean, obviously at that point, I didn't know that this would be the person that I would marry, but I enjoyed him and thought he had a lot going for him. So I was definitely willing to give it another go on a second date. So our first kiss was on our second date. I had actually driven to Kearney and I called up a couple of my girlfriends and was like, you guys, I met this guy. I don't know if I like him. Can you come out, make me look popular? And we went to a bar in Kearney. We actually ended up going to Copperfields. We played beer pong. He claims he beat me. I don't really remember him beating me. But you know what? I'll give it to him that he beat me.
But at the end of the night, we did head over to her friend's house who also lived in Kearney, watch some TV, and as we left, we had our first kiss.
And I will 100% say that I'm the one who pulled the move on him. But yeah, that's how our first kiss went. Oh, and Jessica and Janine were like spying out the window to see if we were going to kiss or not.
So after being at her friend's house, me and Adam decided that we were ready for some breakfast. So we headed over to Perkins, and I remember at Perkins confessing to Adam, I really hope I don't screw this up because this chick is really pretty cool. And as it turns out, I was right.
The first I love you kind of started actually probably on like a Thursday night, or it was a weeknight, and we were standing outside and I was getting ready to drive home, and I was kind of confused about where we were at in this relationship. And being a girl, I really needed to know, like, were we dating? Were we not dating? Was this official, boyfriend, girlfriend, or not? I felt like he was going to drop the L bomb. He didn't drop it that night, but he said something along the lines of liking me with the other L word. On Saturday, we went to a Husker football game, and he went without him to the game, and I ended up tailgating that morning, and then I went to a bar with one of his friends. So I had kind of been drinking all day.
After the game, we met up with them, and we had the luxury of taking a break from the bars. After a while at the bar with her, she started pestering me about something that I may have hinted to earlier in the week. I was a little ashamed at that time to confess what I was feeling, or didn't want to scare her away. So she eventually pulled it out of me by saying, I love you.
And then the next day he came back to Hastings, and I was kind of lying on the couch, and he just stopped by to say hi, and it was a pretty short visit, and he was kind of like, love ya. So it was a little bit awkward the next day, but I told him I loved him too. It was all good.
So I wanted to do something different, something that she would appreciate. So I had the idea that I would make a stop motion animation video of our proposals. So one afternoon, I dug up some of her action figures and made a script, which took me a while because I'm not good with words, and eventually had made myself, I think, a pretty good stop motion video that told the story of how we met. I decided I wanted to get it done before Christmas so I wouldn't have to answer the same question, when you're getting married, when are you getting married. Figure we can answer that question.
John proposed to me on the eve of Christmas Eve, and my story goes, the night before he proposed, we had kind of got into a little bit of an argument about how we were going to balance families during the holidays, because that obviously is not something that we were used to. So he sent me flowers at work that day, and I was kind of like, oh, he feels bad. So he's sending me flowers. Didn't really think anything of it. I actually thought he would wait until after the holidays to propose. So it did catch me off guard a little bit. And so I was lying on the couch, and he came in and was like, let's go out to dinner. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to go out. And he's like, how about Bernardo's? And it's kind of a nice restaurant in Hastings. And I was like, no, I don't think I want to go to Bernardo's. I think that's too nice. I want to wear these sweatpants and just lounge. And he's like, okay. And I was like, well, how about Imperial Palace, which is like a fast food Chinese place?
We ate Chinese food for a little while, and I decided, okay, now's the time. So I said, oh, I was really smooth. I said, I found one of these dioramas that I think you're going to think is pretty cool. And I had the video on YouTube, and so it started playing from YouTube.
The action figures kind of walk around and talk to each other, telling the story about how we met. And then at the end of the video, the engagement ring is shown in the video, with Batman down on his knee, and he asked me to marry him. And in the video, Batman does, and then he was also on one knee next to the couch. So it was very sweet, and it was very me.
Once upon a time, there was a curious librarian looking for someone special. On her quest, she found someone who just might work, only to be left waiting for a response to a message that was never received. Little did she know that this restless engineer had given up access to such messages. This frugal fella felt no need to fork over a coin for such past unfruitful endeavors, a mistake that would delay but could not stop the unimaginable happiness that was soon to come. The day soon came when this fellow stumbled upon this librarian. He thought, now this is someone special that I have to meet. He ponied up the coin and sent the message away. This time he was left waiting for a response that was never received. Feeling like he got the boot, his hopes bruised but still intact, he picked himself up and sent one more faithful message to this enchanted librarian. The message found its home and began the journey that would forever change both of their lives. Their curiosity turned to affection, affection turned to warmth, and warmth turned to love. Kristin Friesen, will you marry me?